make one to read today or nothing, but I love Drew, and I don't ever get to see him anymore. I probably have read my poetry with Drew more than anybody in America. And I know you guys probably aren't like fans of fight like I am, like boxing or mixed martial arts, but I've always felt the difference between Drew's art and my art is like the difference between a technician and a brawler. like Drew's like, you know, he's always got, you know, he knows the right time punch and the combinations, and I'm the guy that just kind of puts his head down and swings, right? So I've always kind of felt like Drew was like the real artist, and I was a guy just like, you know, whatever. Anyway, I'll read a couple pieces real quick. Drew mentioned, and this is a great example, in one of his poems he was talking about the side effects of medication and daily maintenance meds and things like that. And he's able to write those poems and make them beautiful and use all these beautiful metaphors. Here's a poem that I wrote about mental health called Snapping Out of It. It's a little bit different style. I saw somebody tell somebody else with depression to snap out of it, and this person was bitching about it. And I started thinking about all the things that people have told me about how to handle my depression and mental health. So I wrote this poem called Snapping Out of It. If I had $1 for every well-meaning loved one that tried to cure my depression with positive affirmations, I'd have a lot of dollars. But dollars would be useless next to the cure. And there it is, someone told me to just snap out of it. Like I'd never heard that one. Like I'd never tried to snap out of it 500,000 times before. What do you expect me to do? Shake my head like an Etch-a-Sketch? Rattle it off the sidewalk like a renegade pinball? Try to shake the dopamine loose? What if I could just scream at myself in the bathroom mirror every morning until myself listened? What if I already did that until my throat was raw? What if music and yoga and meditation were enough to fetch me the extra serotonin needed to find my smiles? Don't you wonder how many times I've smacked myself in the side of my own head trying to reset my brain like an old television set? Yet my thoughts still view like static and dryer lint. If only I could be happy for all the things I've had around me. If only sunshine was warm enough to get us through all the rain. If only it wasn't so gray and cloudy all the time in my head. If only I could remember who I wanted to be as a child. I tried to snap out of it again today. I head banged and head battered and head shattered. I voodoo hoodoo danced, shaking my head like a maraca. I stuck my fingers in my ears and down my throat looking for a reset button. I stomped my feet and drank a gallon of water cleansed by the moon, and for 10 seconds I thought it worked as my brain went numb before the static started scrolling again. I swear it said, back to your regularly scheduled programming, in snowy letters that are open for interpretation. Thank you. I told you I didn't have anything I wanted to read. But I wrote this poem a lot of years ago when Drew and I when he used to live in Toledo, actually. I don't know if you guys remember Drew when he lived in Toledo, but he was a little wild. He used to drink then. And one time he was supposed to play a show, and he rode this inflatable dolphin in a pond and broke some fingers. Anyway, I wrote this poem for him. It's called The Hillbilly Nerd. He's covered with colorful tattoos, has his long blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail, and he's wearing a t-shirt that has 100 cats printed on it. Of course, the sleeves are cut off. He tells stories of breaking hips while skateboarding and breaking fingers while riding inflatable dolphins. He drinks Busch beer straight from the can, and the more he drinks, the more his Kentucky raisin comes out. He's speaking full hillbilly by the end of the night, which can be quite ironic when he's discussing world politics or how he just had a second novel picked up for publishing. He tells me they've been calling him the Great American Dirtbag, but really, he's just an old hillbilly nerd. Wrote that in 2017. I'm 7 years old. Then I'll just finish with this, and then we can hear Todd play. I got hooked up with some guys from the Joe Hill Labor Prize for Poetry. They're not awarding me nothing, but they asked me to submit a poem for a publication and come do a reading with them for the people that have won the award in Los Angeles in November. So I got to try to figure out how to get out there. But this is the poem that's going to be in their anthology, which is, Joe Hill is a pretty iconic labor, mostly from the mines, but he was maybe murdered by a jealous husband, maybe by the government. It depends on who you listen to. Anyway, they named a labor price after him. It's a pretty big deal to people like me. So I'm glad I get to be a part of the people that have won that award anyway. So this poem's called Things I Haven't Yet Figured Out. Why the feral stray cat hesitates for a second before running away from a stranger showing affection. Why safety nets that are supposed to protect often become spiders' webs that make you feel like waiting prey. How asphalt crumbles, bricks fall, sidewalks crack, bridges collapse, stock markets crash, but people aren't ever allowed to break. How a rich man can watch the morning news and still be able to sleep at night. How presidents can lie, how dictators and newscasters can lie, and governors can lie, how mayors and teachers can lie, how saints and preachers can lie, but we're always expected to know the truth. How cancer became just another billion-dollar industry. How addiction treatment centers are just another billion-dollar industry. How prisons and higher educations are both billion-dollar industries. How guns and bullets, how pornography and alcohol, how YouTube and Facebook are billion-dollar industries. How pharmaceuticals have become a billion-dollar industry, but the treatment of mental health has not. How there are 44 million hungry Americans living amongst us right now. How 1 in 5 American children grows up starving, and how 1/3 of all the food in all our grocery stores is thrown away. How American restaurants keep raising prices and throwing away 30 billion pounds of food every goddamn year. How there are 30 Americans wealthy enough to end American hunger forever, and why we haven't eaten them yet.